Okay.
There we go. So, this is the TechnoCola podcast, episode 2. Successful second week of actually getting up on time, and we're going to try YouTube, so we'll see how this goes. We're one man down, actually 2. We were supposed to have a second person on this week, or a fourth person on this week. One threw out his back and one forgot dinner. So, what are you gonna do? We still have Goro here though. So, Goro, go ahead.
Hey guys. I didn't forget dinner.
Yeah. I couldn't forget dinner. Dinner's too important.
So
in any
important.
case, for this week, I made a special little opener intro to the topics of the week. So let's see if you guys like this. But in any case, here we go. TechnoCola podcast episode 2. This week, we discuss the darker side of things. Government shooting lasers from the sky, Pebble in financial trouble, YouTube invading Twitch's borders, and finally large white rods sticking out of the ground, gyrating vigorously. On an unrelated note, porn on the Oculus Rift. Calm down and take a shower if you need to. This is the TechnoCola podcast episode 2, titled, Let's Keep It Classy, Guys. Alright, so let's go ahead and get on into this. First topic that I have down today, if I can get to it, is Death Rays from Above. It's an Ars Technica article titled DARPA Laser Research Boosts Airborne Death Rays, Tiny Laser Scanners. You want to start on this? I don't know if you read into this guy too much.
I read through it. I thought it was pretty interesting. It's definitely on its way. Like, from a while ago, I think for a long time people have been like, oh, why don't you just build a laser like they did in Star Wars and stick it on a plane and take care of every single problem we have, right?
Every single problem just by mounting, what was it, like lithium ion batteries to ships and planes.
So, eventually Tesla's going to have to start making fighter jets. And then they put the big batteries on it.
See,
it is.
Here's. Go ahead. You there?
Yeah, no, I was waiting for you to say something.
No, so first of all, Google Hangouts has lags. That probably is going to have to factor into all this. But, I was kind of disappointed because the article brought up the use of putting these things on drones. But unfortunately, because drones are apparently our favorite topic on this podcast, they were unsuccessful.
Well, it's not so much that they're unsuccessful. I mean, I'm pretty sure someone out there could build a drone. I think one of the bigger aircraft companies, I think maybe Lockheed, they've got this unmanned helicopter that they've been developing. I think it's been through a couple successful trials recently. You could strap a laser to that, right? I mean, it wouldn't really be a problem, but I think the problem becomes that when you have something like that, suddenly it's not so, how would you say, discreet. Like the whole purpose, of having like a quadrotor, quadcopter, octocopter, it's like something a soldier could carry in a backpack and release and give on-field intel, and suddenly you have a giant death copter. I mean,
Well, even with those, like they're still loud and they still make a lot of noise, right? So it's not like
that's true.
Perfectly quiet.
But it's not that they're perfectly quiet, but I mean, you have a tiny little thing like, on Amazon and stuff, you see drones that are like the size of your palm, and then you see drones that are the size of like a pickup bed, from a pickup truck. And it's somewhere in there, I bet somebody's designed something that's quieter, of a decent size, and can give you on-field intel. And, give it like a decade, they'll probably have laser drones, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. I guess so. I guess I didn't notice this before, but all the technologies that comes out of, or that the government uses, military-wise at least, they're originally from private companies. They're not necessarily like military, like born and bred. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. I think
which is scary. I mean, I don't know. Not that I have any more trust in the government building lasers.
It's not like Amazon is developing, a death satellite. I think. Right. I hope. But in the old days, yeah, I think like around the first two world wars and earlier generations of wars, before our time, I guess, it was easier to build stuff yourself, just because technology was relatively new. You wanted to keep stuff under wraps, and what better way to keep things quiet and discreet than by building it in your own house. So
right.
The Navy, the Army, Air Force, they're all developing stuff, and then technology starts rapidly expanding and exploding with new ideas, new technologies, etc. And suddenly it becomes a question of cost. So you're not you're not saying, oh, I know I can build this, but I just don't want to. It's saying, I know this is doable. Who is going to do it for me with the least cost to me? At least in my mind, that's kind of what's happening, which is why all these companies are developing crazy, scary shit.
For sure. And I mean, like, the only reason I found out about this, and you can call it me being oblivious or naive or whatever, was there was, I forget what company it was, but a recruiting person from a military, not a military, but like a private weapons company came to OSU and was in the computer programming building, just like looking for people that wanted to intern there. And it was weird as hell because they had like models of just rockets next to this like little booth. And I was just like, holy crap, I don't have anything against it. I mean, yeah, like do what you got to do, but it was kind of eye opening. Like, wow, like it's just another business, right?
I mean, I know you hear it a lot, kind of cliche saying, but it seems like a lot of time, that's what a war is. It's like it's business. You have something to take care of. Somebody else has something to take care of.
Yeah.
It really ends up being who has the most money to take care of their end of business.
Quoting Tony Stark, who has the bigger stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I was reading through this article, and just like the amount of power that these beams are going to be able to create and pinpoint is ridiculous. A 75 kilowatt laser module creates a beam of 150 to 300 kilowatt tactical laser weapon. Wow.
I mean, in that end, it's not so much like you think like a doomsday laser, like one big old laser. But what's interesting is they've started combining multiple little ones. Well, quote unquote little ones. They're not
right.
They're not little, but they're smaller than the end goal, which is interesting. Sure. I kind of want to know how they do that, but I think they'd shoot me if I asked.
Yeah.
It is kind of freaky. It's almost... go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's almost reminiscent of all that Star Wars stuff that you would read about in history books from the Reagan era.
That's
Reagan?
What actually I was going to ask you. Well, yeah. But no, specifically, Star Wars Death Star. Are we starting the march towards it?
No, that's a silly thing to build. You could build like,
you never know.
Instead of a death, technically it's a death moon. Let's be honest, it's a moon. It's not a star.
Moon.
It's a death moon.
Not quite that big.
But why would you build? It's like saying, should I build one very, very big tank with just one cannon that can fly in space, or should I build like, I don't know, 1 billion fighter jets? Like, What's the point
That's
of
true.
blowing up a planet? You blew up something you could have had.
Especially with that dumb movie catastrophic flaw in the system.
Yeah. It's like, I hope nobody will find out we have one hole that you could exploit.
I know.
Oh no, they found out. Like, what are the odds?
Oh jeez.
But that's always funny.
Yeah. And it happens in every movie too. There's always like one thing where they're like, oh, we just found out about the one weakness that makes everything really easy.
Well, that's how you keep a movie going, right?
True. That's very true. But other than laser specific weapons, I'm thinking Titanfall type. Just military, like privatized. You play Titanfall, right?
Yeah.
So
I know what you're talking about.
Military. The reason I bring this up, you're getting a exclusive view right now. I just put this up.
Oh my god! Wow, that's actually really neat.
Super. Yeah, it was. I got it on launch day last year, and I had it rolled up in my closet, and I thought, why not? Let's pull it out. But
I really hate myself for this, but I used to play Xbox 360 a lot, and then I kind of stopped having.
That's not something to be like sad about.
No, that's not what I'm sad about. That's the intro to the story. That's not the end. No, but I used to play it a lot, right? Because I didn't have a desktop or a gaming computer or anything like that. And my brother bought me Titanfall, and I still haven't opened it. Because he bought me it right when I switched over to PC gaming. So like my Xbox is sitting in my closet, and an unopened copy of Titanfall is sitting right next to it.
For the 360, not the one.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
And I don't even want to play it anymore because now I'd have to pay for live. It's like, why do that?
Yeah, that's true. Come to think of it, this is probably a really dumb question. We're getting off topic here, but do games? So you pay for Xbox Live, but you don't have to pay for like PC Online. Is that because Xbox Live hosts all the servers, or is that because they need us to pay for the servers, or like why?
Well, that I'm not 100% sure on. I know you pay for Xbox Live, but you don't pay for, I think, what is now the basic version of PlayStation Live or PlayStation Network, PSN.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of one of those things where I think it depends on the company. I don't know why PlayStation doesn't really charge much money, or any at all, if any. And Xbox does. I know that. Now, but I think there's like a higher tier. I'm not sure.
Is there?
I don't know. But
see, if Brandon were on, he'd be able to answer this because he has a PlayStation 4.
I mean, we could always Google it, but I mean, that's just that's hard.
It's too much work.
I don't want to have to open another tab. But for PC gaming, as far as online goes, you basically, like, if you're running through Steam or, God forbid, Origin or something like that, I'm pretty sure it runs with your purchase. Speaking of gaming,
I feel like that's the way to do things.
I am excited. I downloaded Witcher, which I got free from buying my
graphics card, my
CPU. There's a bundle deal with my CPU, and I'm excited. I'm excited to play it. I was saving it for tonight. I've heard really good things, and I ran a PC benchmark today, and I hope it runs well.
You have an NVIDIA card, right? Not an AMD?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I made sure to go with the right choice.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next topic. So this one's yours. Wobbly wind energy.
Ah, yes.
The giant gyrating rods in the ground.
All right, so last week you got them. You searched a lot of the articles we spoke of from The Verge and from Ars Technica. So, afterwards I was still kind of on the Verge website, and I noticed this bladeless wind turbine shake to generate energy. That's the title of the article. And basically, this company a startup out of Spain. They're titled Vortex Bladeless. They actually have a pretty neat website. I went to it, and their intro is kind of neat. If anything, I liked watching it. But I was really, my interest was piqued. I was really in love with these for 2 days. Because one, they look really, really nice compared to a bladed, wind turbine. I mean,
right.
It just looks nice in the pictures and stuff they have, which is, I guess, how you sell it to dumb people like me. But the whole premise is that you have a long, or, however long you want it, I guess, structure, kind of just like a pole, or I don't know what they call it, stem coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
So kind of like take a turbine, what's it called? A wind turbine, and just take off the turbine part. So that entire head at the top with the converter and the blades, and you just have the long stem. And basically, the wind will hit this stem and cause it to shake, right? And they use that shake to capture energy from, the oscillations. And,
right.
In my mind, it looks pretty cool. You have a field of 100 of these just wiggling. That's pretty neat. But then you start thinking, wait a minute, hold up, back this up. You want to build, it makes sense if you want to build 50 to 100 foot tall stem or stalk, whatever they call this thing, pillar.
Right.
Pillar's a good word. But then you get to the wind turbines that are truly massive, and you're sitting there thinking, how are you going to make something this big and still have it look as good as what you had when it was much smaller? I'm looking up this thing.
Is your issue with it the aesthetic of it or the performance?
No. I mean, aesthetic wise, I'm looking. If you look up just Google wind turbine comparison, you'll see a chart of different heights of wind turbines. Yeah. And they go from 100 foot to all the way to 400 feet tall. And you're sitting there thinking, 400 feet, holy crap. How are you going to build something that is 400 feet tall, designed to capture energy, and still be reducing costs? Because while a wind turbine, itself is 400 feet, it's structured so that it has a moving head, and that adds that extra height. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not the stem is going to go to 400 feet. The blade itself is also helping. And then, with this thing, it's going to be this massive stick in the ground. And I'm not as in love with it as I was before after kind of scaling it back to size.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. You show me one, and then I'll decide.
Right. I mean, the technological draw to it was just the idea that you can put more of them there. You lose out on the fact that they generate less energy. I don't remember them saying anything about pricing. I
assume
that would be
I can't hear you.
It's probably going to be a pretty big issue with pricing. And have you seen one of these being transported over the freeway?
I've seen wind turbines, and it's just the blade takes up over the length of a semi-trailer bed, and you're kind of sitting there holy crap.
Yeah. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, size alone, and I mean, you're gonna be saving a lot there. But I mean, I don't know. It's a new technology, so it's going to be more expensive. You're going to run into issues, and I mean, people are probably going to be wondering what these random things are sticking out of the ground, because eventually you're going to see a wind turbine and you're going to recognize it, but this just looks like something out of an alien invasion movie. Yeah. So
I would be interested in, I think, further researching vertical wind turbines. Instead of having these massive fans, right? Yeah. Blades, they kind of look like those old school lawnmowers with the kind of helical cutting blades turned upright. Yeah. Or sideways.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, those have always been aesthetically pleasing to me, much more so than something like this. And I remember a few years ago reading an article. Somebody somewhere on this planet wanted to build an apartment building that was built in kind of stacks. And, what it did was you prefabricated each stack. So each level was prefabricated. Okay. So, you'd buy a level, basically. Probably not in my price range, but an interesting idea. Oh, it was from Popular Science. I read it on on a flight to somewhere. And I was, and they also went on to say that the building would capture wind energy because each floor would have some space in between it and would have a mechanism that would allow it to be rotating. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So your apartment would get this kind of 360-degree view of wherever you were living, adding to, the appeal and price tag of all that stuff. But it was interesting, like, considering that you built a building that will actually rotate based on the wind and, I don't know, generate electricity, or at the very least generate some form of revenue, even if it's in the fact that it's straight up just curb appeal.
Right. Right.
And it was a really neat idea until you consider, what if the winds get too strong and suddenly you're sitting in your living room, and spinning like you're on a record player or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have something to stop that, but that was very interesting to me too.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of it all, obviously we can't be dependent on fossil fuels and that type of energy. But then I guess the answer is this a viable alternative? We keep talking about price and aesthetic and whatever, but at the end of the day, is it going to be efficient enough to work? But
wind?
I mean, it looks like this wind in itself is going to be, you're going to lack. Yeah. But who knows?
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe these large things are actually going to work, but we'll have to see to find out. Looks like it's a pretty new idea, but we shall see. All right.
Yeah,
we're doing pretty good on time. Like, we're actually not too far behind here.
I think we can chalk that up to Brandon not being here. He was a real talker, right?
He really was. But we'll see. Before we get into this next one, let me introduce it. It's Pebble, possibly having some monetary issues, but it's pulled from iDownload blog. And last time, I kind of trashed on Apple, right? So this week, I felt that I should make amends. So I'm wearing my Apple shirt that is from.
I can't see it. Your chair's in the way.
Oh no!
But I know what you're talking about. It's from the Genius shirt.
It's from the Genius. Yeah, it's from the Genius bar. So.
Somebody is qualified, I guess.
No. Don't ask me how I got this. I never worked there. Don't ask me how I got this.
Did you mug a Genius?
I did. That's exactly what happened. I found him in a back alley and took him for all his items. But in any case, Pebble in financial trouble. So basically, there was news that came out that Pebble was looking for a loan and a line of credit, which makes me sad because I owned both the original Pebble and the Pebble Steel, and they were both great watches, and they were the ones that kicked the wearables market that you're not so fond of into gear, and they're the ones that kind of set the standard for what it should be. So it kind of saddens me that they're looking for help, but I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
I don't know. I think maybe last week I came across as kind of hating wearables. I don't really hate wearables. I just don't like them enough yet to buy them. You know what I mean? I don't want to spend a lot of money on something I personally will not get a lot of use out of. As far as Pebble goes, I'm not going to say early adopter, but I was kind of early enough adopter. Right?
Okay.
So I pre-ordered it when it was, out for pre-orders after their Kickstarter campaign, I think. The original.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to wait the 3 months, so then I went off and found somewhere to buy it.
Yeah.
And, I was excited. I wore it to work. I wore it to the gym. I charged it properly. I was like, this is going to make my life so much better. And, for a while it did. For a while it was great. It was like, I can see, Bluetooth connecting. I don't have to take my phone out at work and not look like I'm doing anything. I can just change my music from here, all that stuff. And it had some neat apps, and I could really see it going somewhere.
You look like you just don't want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But, my real problem with it was, like, I don't know what it was. I think it might have been exposure to sunlight or something like this. But every so often, like, my screen would glance out. And it would, because it's not like an LCD or anything. It's kind of that ink display. I forget what it's called.
It's that e-paper thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was annoying, and I didn't like it. And I was like, you know what I should do? I should go to Pebble's customer service. Be like, hey, what's wrong? And I couldn't find it. I went to their website. I went to their Kickstarter. I don't know if it just wasn't up and running at that point in time, but for whatever reason, it wasn't easily accessible, if accessible at all.
Wow.
And so then I grew irksome. And I kept it for a while. I kind of, the screen issue kind of went away by itself. It reappeared over the next month or two a little bit over again. But like after turning it off and leaving it by itself for a while, it kind of go back to normal. And I was like, this is a great watch. It's nice. I like it. I'm going to return it because I don't think it's finished yet.
So you returned it, got all your money back.
Yeah, I returned it, got all my money back because while it was really nice, it looked nice. It was a conversation starter. People at work were like, "Oh, what's that?" Right? Like it's college kid looking at it with all this fancy new technology. It was really nice, but I'm kind of not surprised to see this article because I really just don't think it was polished enough. And with the advent of and then with the advent of, Google watches, Android watches, I think Asus, Samsung, a lot of them actually have their own version. Yep. And they're beautiful in a sense that I don't think this watch can compete with because of its screen. E-ink is nice, but not compared to an LCD.
Right. Have you seen their new watch?
The Steel?
The Pebble Time.
I have not. I will Google it.
It's still e-ink, but it's multicolor, and the response rate, the refresh rate, whatever you want to call it, is a lot quicker. So you get actual animations, and it looks beautiful. It's still e-ink, so you still get a lot of power savings and whatnot. It was kind of funny. They launched this one on Kickstarter too because they were the ones that actually kind of like started Kickstarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they launched Pebble Time, and then about, I don't know if it was like a day, it might have been a few days, but very, very shortly after that, they released Pebble Time Steel because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it looks so plastic." The bezels are huge. I don't really understand why. Like, at least on the Pebble Steel, it made sense.
I kind of like
nice. It. Yeah.
I like that rubber look.
Really?
I mean, I'm looking at their Kickstarter page, and as well as on their website, and I agree that the steel looks nice, but for my lifestyle, I mean, that plastic one doesn't look too bad to me.
Yeah. You think that's assuming it works perfectly, assuming that there's no issues,
perfectly,
that customer support is there, that if you need help, they'll figure it out. Would you buy it?
Do you know how much it's selling for? Let's see. You get one watch for $150. Retail is $200. They want $200 for this thing.
Cheaper than
$200
most
retail
watches.
And then a Moto 360. Let me just see if I can find it real quick. It goes for $179 on Amazon.
Yep.
I don't know why I wouldn't go with the Moto.
You're comparing 1-year-old technology to brand new technology. The Moto 362, Moto 720, whatever you want to call it. Should be out soon. People are saying Google I/O, but
I see it.
Does this look good to you?
It looks good, but here's my problem now. Here's my new problem. My second first world issue. The Pebble Time, it looks like a good watch, but first of all, it's still e-ink, which I have a little bit of an issue with when I'm given the option of using an LCD. It's like, why wouldn't I? Because the other one offers touch. I don't know. Does this one offer touch? I don't think so. Does it?
No.
No.
I think
See, the other one offers touch. I mean, why wouldn't I go with the swiping motion? I mean, that's basically our entire lives now. Swipe to get information. I mean, the Moto looks much better because of how small of its bezel there is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Aesthetically speaking, the Moto is going to look better than anything these guys have put out. Even the Moto 1, just because of how thin that bezel is, it looks almost edge to edge.
Right.
So I don't mean to hate on Pebble. I like the idea. I think e-ink was very neat when I bought it. I still think it's pretty neat, for Kindles and things that you want to read in bright sunlight. But to give them $200, if I had $200 to burn, I might consider it. But without that, I'm not 100% sold on it. Maybe if I see it in the stores and I really, really like it.
Right.
Just not right now.
And I mean,
not from what I've
this
seen.
one has a and this one has a microphone now, and they've really amped it up. I think it's just a matter of seeing. I don't know is there a launch date listed somewhere? I didn't see one.
I do not know. I'm sure that there is. I don't see the need for a microphone. I'm not gonna talk like James Bond into my wrist. That's stupid.
For Google now, when you're alone in your room or somewhere not around other people, it's nice to be able to reply to a text every once in a while. At least on my 360, but
I don't know. I think
nice.
That's personal
it's
preferences.
Nice to see, right? Yeah, but I mean, for me, it's nice to see a thing. I don't have it on. It's nice to see it pop up on my wrist and then just be able to say reply and then just talk to it. I wouldn't do that.
You know what I will? You know what I will buy? The first one that when it comes out, what I'll try and get? Give me a Holo Watch, something that pops up in 3D. I don't care how big it is. It could, it could take up from my wrist to my elbow. I'll buy that.
The Neptune Prime, even that big?
No, bigger. I said wrist to my elbow.
Oh.
Like that thing could look like a sleeve, and I'll wear it.
No.
Yeah, think about it. Like you're wearing it. You close your sleeve, you put your sleeve over it, and suddenly it's popping up through your sleeve. How cool would that be? Answer, very, very cool.
It would be cool. It definitely would be cool. I just don't see myself wearing a technology sleeve. But personal preference, right?
Yeah, personal preference. You're wrong, but personal preference.
Okay, yeah.
All right, we should maybe move on.
In any case, yeah. The next one we have the Oculus Rift as the topic. They won't be blocking porn on VR headsets, and I think this is more of like a technicality because they said that they aren't blocking anything, aka they won't be blocking this specifically. But do you want
First of all, I'll dive into it. First of all, if you buy an Oculus Rift, you also have to buy an Oculus Rift compatible computer. Which means if you want to be watching this type of content, happy time content, you're going to have a pretty kick-ass rendering rig because who wants to watch, that kind of stuff in an Oculus Rift and suddenly, everything turns into 8-bit and you're sitting there like, oh, wow, what is this? Secondly, if you buy an Oculus Rift, and you build a computer that's capable of running it very, very well, and then this is what you use it for, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to know you. What is wrong with you? Like, seriously.
Yeah, that's what...
There's so much more you could do. You could be an eagle You could be flying, and you choose to do something you can do on your phone. Probably.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. You literally took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say
what is
you're gonna need
this
a great
nonsense?
Computer. Yeah, you're gonna need a great computer for this. You're gonna need. I just don't know, man. Like where.
I like that.
Where does the world come
I
to?
like that Oculus won't block it. That's good. Like a company that allows you to do whatever you want with their technology. That's pretty good. And I know that like I'm curious to see how their competitors. I think that NVIDIA is releasing one. Somewhere.
Yeah, but there's a few.
I'm curious to see because like I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a certain clientele out there where this is going to be a very large selling point.
Yes,
and I'm sure some people are gonna be very, very happy and they're gonna be a little less lonely.
Yeah.
I think it's silly.
Another pretty important thing about this is that what was the big thing? It was like Blu-ray versus HD DVD when that standard happened, and even it was CDs, I think, and something else. There was a big
laser discs.
Yeah. the argument was that the porn industry was the one that kicked off that technology because a lot of people apparently want to be able to consume that content. So I'm trying to be very careful with my words here. They're trying to consume that content and they want the next best thing. And because Oculus has the name, when you think VR, what do you think? You think Oculus. So because they have that branding to them, I think this is a great play. I think this is a fantastic play.
I agree. It'll certainly give them. We need a code watermelon. I'm gonna call it for people who really, really want to consume watermelon in this manner. That's my code word from now on. I think that this is gonna be a huge selling point. Like, you know, if you need a new level of watermelon to consume.
Wait. Why not just use the word content? Why watermelon?
I could, but it didn't occur to me.
I said content. I said content. That's why I said. Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry. Fine, we'll use content.
No, watermelon's better. I agree.
Okay, yeah, there you go. If you want that kind of watermelon, you're definitely. If you're that into watermelon, if that's what you're really about, hardcore watermelon, I see this being a major selling point for you. I just wonder if somebody's going to have a job of testing it out at Oculus.
Oh, I can't
quality control.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I guess at the end of the day, it's a great idea, and they're putting themselves at the forefront.
Actually, I wasn't even sure this. I didn't even know this was an issue. Like,
what was?
It wasn't like when I think of Oculus Rift, this isn't what comes to mind, like using it for this. Yeah. Right? But I wasn't even aware that people would consider blocking it or not allow it or allow it for that matter. I didn't think anybody else thought of it.
Right.
It's just like, why?
Well, I mean Apple did, right? And I mean, to an extent, so does Google. They blocking that content.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Meh.
I mean, it's. I think for a company like Oculus, when you're that small, you just don't you don't say no to anything. I think as a company, when you're starting off, you don't say no.
Any port in a storm, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
maybe they'll give you like a little tag, like "Do not disturb." Eating watermelon.
Eating.
Like when you're like, because you got this on, nobody knows what you're watching. I think.
Doesn't it show up on the computer? Like it shows.
I don't know. I don't have one.
I thought it did. I thought I saw.
Kind of like a. Well, I would assume you could turn that off. That's just unnecessary energy. Like,
right. Yeah.
You just, I mean, you not necessarily turn it off from the computer, but just turn your screen off.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't see the point of having 2 monitors running when you don't need it.
For sure. But, alright, before we get banned. Do you want to introduce this one? We'll change it up.
Yes, please. Okay, so this next one, it's another article from Ars Technica. It's kind of a battle between Google and Twitch now. Or Amazon, rather.
Amazon.
So,
yeah.
Amazon is teaming up to be a huge competitor to other websites just because it keeps, not websites, but other companies, because it keeps expanding. But in this one, the article title is YouTube Eyes Twitch user base at 60 FPS live streams with HTML playback. Basically, they're just, they're trying to sneak people away from Google, and Google's having none of it.
Yeah.
You expect this kind of stuff because, I mean, Twitch really, really took off really quickly. Mm-hmm. People actually, I think, really liked it. And yeah, I mean, you see the, well, I don't know if you'd call them the 2 biggest. They probably are, but I don't know enough about streaming to call them that. But for the purposes here, you see Amazon and Google kind of like playing tug of war with people, really. Like, we offer this, and Google's like, yeah, well, we offer this and this and that. So everybody's, coming back and forth, and
yeah,
I feel like the end, eventually it's just going to level out.
Yeah. Yeah, but here's the killer feature that YouTube has. They store content. It's a repository. Twitch is not.
That's true.
So even if you see Twitch streamers now, they'll stream on Twitch and then they'll post on YouTube because that's where you go for long-term content. Like if you're going to search for a video, that's where you're going to go look. So I think
that's true.
If YouTube, if Google Hangouts on air can match what Twitch does, why do you need Twitch anymore?
That's very true.
They're irrelevant. So this is going to put the pressure on Twitch to either pony up and say, okay, fine, we're going to start offering like a YouTube type long-term storage, or we're gonna tap out. I don't see what they have left. I mean, they have a huge user base, but
Google might just buy them. Like seriously, like Google might just be softening them. Yeah, like Google might just be softening the meat right now until they decide, hey, this isn't worth anything to you because we're so much better. Why don't you just give it to us and make what little money you can off, quote unquote little money you can off of it. The point you brought up is really good. I know that Amazon also probably has a lot of storage capability with their Prime and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised if they came back with something like that. But the problem is that when you say, hey, do you want to watch this video, you don't really even have to tell somebody nowadays, like, go to YouTube and type in these words. Literally, most people, I think, the first thing they would do when you say, hey, you should watch this funny cat video, here's the name, is they'll literally just open up Google and search that, and the first thing you'll hit is YouTube. Yep. YouTube is a household name now. Like, babies can use YouTube to see, like, their little videos and stuff. It's going to be very, very difficult to kind of upstart the YouTube brand name. Twitch has a lot of following because it was new. It's something that people haven't been able to do easily before. Mm-hmm. So unless they suddenly say, like, hey, all of this stuff can be found right here, and then do some heavy marketing to gamers and stuff, YouTube just has the name. Like, I think most gamers who have a worthwhile contribution on YouTube, they have their channels and followers. Right. They're not going to ask, I don't know, if you're really good, you have, 100,000 followers, 2,000 followers, between that number, I guess. You're not going to ask, 2,000 people, 3,000 people more to move. Most people are just too lazy.
And at the end of the day, it's convenience, right? I mean, for content creators, it's a matter of, I mean, do I want to stream on a different website? And then what you see a lot of people do is they stream on Twitch and they post on YouTube saying, "Hey, we're live. Come watch."
Yeah.
Do you do that twice? Where are you gonna tell people about this? Like, how are you gonna get the name out? It's not.
It's kind of
not the best way.
It's kind of like It's kind of like, when Facebook and Twitter were kind of having it out, and Facebook's like, yeah, well, now you can use hashtags in our statuses and it'll link. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, no, I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah.
Who uses hashtags in Facebook statuses now? That's stupid. That's what Twitter was for. Twitter was built to be able to use the hashtag.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of like everybody does it. It's not special.
Right. And I mean, at the time, with what Facebook and Twitter are doing, kind of what YouTube and Twitch are about to do, is they competed for where they were in the world. What are you for? And Facebook was for your daily life, or I guess not. It was kind of like an archive of your life, and it still is today.
Yeah.
Twitter is more of a, here's what I'm doing right now, and that's all you really care about. Twitter is one of those places where you just, every once in a while you quickly scroll through it and you see what's new, and then you close it out and you're done for a while. Facebook is kind of where you sit down and get a bag of popcorn and you kind of see what's going on. I know. I mean, Facebook's stalking, right? That's where it all came out of. Facebook has that long-term pull to it, versus Twitter is, by definition, 140 characters or less, 160 characters, whatever it is.
I think it's 40. No, you're right. I think you're pretty much spot on. Like, I opened up Twitter earlier this week after about 2-3 months.
Jeez.
Just to see what was on, because I have had Twitter for 5-6 years, and I'm pretty sure I haven't gone over 600 tweets. It's just, I don't get it. I don't care if people know what I'm doing.
Right.
So much so as, on Facebook, I'll post a photo and be like, oh yeah, we had a fun day at Kings Island, and I'll be like, because these people who were friends on Facebook were there. On Twitter, it's like, hashtag fun, hashtag I can't tag all my friends.
Yeah. And I mean, I just passed 300 tweets, and I've had it for just about the same amount of time. But I mean, I guess the relationship that I was making was that, just like how Facebook and Twitter had to define what they were in the minds of everyone, Twitch is going to have to do the same thing. Are they going to compete with Google, or are they going to say, we're going to double down on purely gaming streams, and we're going to make it the best experience possible? We're going to make it super easy for you. They have to kind of define where they fall in that, and whether or not it's going to work.
I think you're right. It's going to be interesting seeing what happens. I'm kind of in the boat that eventually they might just die out. But it depends on how aggressively Google attacks this.
Mm-hmm.
If Google is saying, hey, you guys are already posting these videos to our YouTube account, our YouTube company, why not just do everything at one time, save yourself some hassle?
Exactly.
It makes a lot more sense. I mean, at least to me, and I'm pretty sure, anybody who's doing a lot of the streaming stuff, to do it directly at the source.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
I think we'll, over the next year for sure, we're going to see exactly what each of these sides does to show what to basically buy for content creators. But it's going to be interesting. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody new will come up.
Oh God. This is again probably me being nostalgic, but I miss the time when you could just go to one place, and I don't know. I mean, no, I guess I don't miss that, because that's a monopoly, and you're not going to get a lot of good competition that way. But never mind. we're just.
Are you saying you miss MySpace?
No. We won't even mention that name again. Oh, jeez. All right. So we got about 10 minutes left here. So let's get on the last topic, and this one's the wild card topic of the week. And it is the state of 4K. Is it feasible in terms of content, gaming, monitors, pricing? What do you think? And I have a little trick at the end.
One of the things I did a lot before I built my, entry-level gaming computer is I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, specifically quite a few from Linus Tech Tips. I mean, they're not a sponsor or anything, but I watched their videos a lot. And one of the few things they did was they covered 4K gaming rigs and things like that. And what I got from watching that and then going off and doing my own research on what I would need is that for someone like me, 4K is beautiful, it is just too goddamn expensive. Like, you have to buy a 4K monitor. One, there are just not that many readily available 4K monitors. Two, you have to either build a system specifically for it or heavily upgrade, your current system. I'm running a single MSI GTX 960 with 2 gigabytes of onboard RAM. I'm pretty sure gigabytes. I'm pretty sure that thing would just die of fear if I connected a 4K resolution monitor to it. One, it's not going to be able to run it. It's just going to scale everything down. But even if I had 4 960s running in quad SLI, it's not going to do it. I have to buy a very.
Are you specifically talking about gaming or just use?
Gaming.
Good. Okay.
If I put four of my 960s, that's still only 8 gigs. I'm pretty sure there's a single Titan GTX card out there that I'm gonna Google it. Yeah,
it's 12 gigs.
And some people are running them in triple SLI, and they're still not 100% where they want to be.
Right.
And that's $3,000 or more just on your graphics setup. Then you add another $1,000 if you want to go dual screen, high end 4K monitors. You have to upgrade your probably upgrade your CPU to at least an i7, which for me at least is another 150. You'd have to probably need more RAM than I have. And if you're going to be running that, if you're going to be running 3 GTX 960s, you might as well be running whatever else you might want to spend
it just keeps
money
stacking.
on. You might as well.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just too much for me.
So from my point of view, I don't game on my computer. It's more or less browsing or content creation. So I run one 4K monitor. I used to have 3 at one point, 1080p monitors. And I went to one 4K. So technically, I have 25% more load on the thing than I did before, and I don't notice one stutter on it. Everything looks fine. If I go to play a game, which I actually did today just to see because I knew that this topic was coming up, I played, I think it was Black Ops 2. It was Black Ops 2. And I played at 1080p, and it was fine. I mean, I played at 1080p, but I actually don't know how scaling or whatever would work on that, but it ran fine.
I think you'd find. Wait, what are you running again?
It's I think I told you guys. It's a.
I did not remember.
It's a gigabyte. It's a GeForce GTX Gigabyte 780 Ti gigahertz edition. So it was the top of the line 780 Ti.
Yeah. Damn it, Gotham.
Yeah.
Making me jealous.
So before I get into the naming trick, I'm planning on getting a second monitor, 4K, same one. I have what is it? It's like a PB, 27 something or another. I'll look it up as I stall and talk about what I'm going to do. But essentially, I'm going to be getting a second monitor, and I'm looking or trying to figure out if I'm going to need a second video card to run the thing. Because one kind of pissed me off. The 7080 Ti only has one display port out.
Yeah.
Which, when I realized, I was like, kind of annoying. So I'm looking at getting a second graphics card, not another 7080 Ti, maybe just the cheapest one that I can get that can run a 4K monitor at 60 hertz. It's a P2715Q. It's a Dell P2715Q. It's a 27-inch monitor. It's IPS. It has like a 6 millisecond response time, so not the best for gaming, but it's also sRGB 99. So pretty good.
I imagine you paid a decent price for that.
Yeah. I'd rather not discuss it.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's why I left it at that. But I mean, see, that's kind of that's one of those cost to use benefit ratios.
Right.
And I mean, I assume for content creation, it is really nice to see all your work come out in what is right now the nicest, or cleanest type of viewing. For me, it's not. I play Counter-Strike nowadays. Like, I started playing a lot recently, a lot.
We should
so
play.
Not like
Let's play after the stream.
We should do that. We'll do that. But I'm learning it. I'm doing okay, I guess. But I don't think that playing Counter-Strike in 4K versus playing it on my 180p, Acer stock model screen is really going to wow me any more than when I pretty much die within the first 2 minutes of every round anyway. So it's not it's not like
you'd be missing out.
I'm going to get so much more use anyway.
Right.
Although I will admit, I might come by and steal it for a few days to see if Witcher looks any better.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting. Or maybe I'll bring my desktop over if your screen's already mounted. Because
it's not mounted yet, but...
Okay. That, I think, would be an interesting... Maybe I'll just YouTube it. See what other people are doing so I don't have to do any work. But, the games like those and, other AAA titles, at that point, they're pushing 4K, or at least a lot of them will be in the next few years minimum.
Right.
Or at the most. And at that point, it's like, if you're really into gaming and it's something you find a lot of enjoyment comes out for your life, why not?
Exactly.
I mean, you only have 10 years until 8K comes out, and suddenly your eyeballs are burning up from how many pixels you have to look at.
Yeah. Speaking of pixels, again, before I get into the naming trick here, I sit about 1.5 feet away from my monitors. I like to be close. I don't know why. I just do. So
hold on.
Because of that, go ahead. Because of that, I had an issue with 1080p monitors because of the fact that because I sit so close, I can see pixels. And a lot of people are going to say, you can't see pixels on a 1080p monitor. Well, I could. So sitting this close to a 4K monitor is fantastic because I'm not able to see pixels and everything looks fantastic.
I'm about 35 inches away.
Yeah, so about 3 feet.
I went and got a tape measure. Yeah.
I've got an engineering ruler here. It's 15 inches.
Ooh.
So I'm not going to move my head. I'm just going to do this. 15 is about right here, and I'll keep it still. So I'm at 23. So I'm about 2 feet away.
See, from my laptop, I'm 20 inches away. But from my desktop, because I have such a big screen.
Yeah.
Well, not big. It's a 24-inch, but it's bigger than, a 15-inch laptop screen.
A laptop, yeah. But, okay, so the naming trick. You hear every day people say 4K is in 4K. It's only 3840. It's not 4K. Also, 1080p was the height of the monitors. So you had 1920 by 1080, right? So 4K is 3840 by 2160. For some reason, they had 1920 by 1080. 1080p was the height, and that's what they called it. Same thing with 720p. 1280 by 720, 720p. Yeah. So now 4K, 3840 by 2160. Why don't we call it 2160? Right? People complain. They're like, that's not 4K. That's 2160p. Why do they call it that? And there was this big thing. And I fell into the trap, and I was like, yeah, like that doesn't make any sense. This is such bad marketing. Why are they calling it 4K? And then I did research, and I found out that because of the gamers in the world, 4K got a bad name, and every marketer that called it 4K was thrown into the hole because they said, no, it's not really 4K. Turns out 4K is a cinema standard. 4K is the resolution, is the aspect ratio. Technically, it's 4096 by 2160. I think that's called 4K DCI. And then that was adapted to fit the 16 by 9 aspect ratio of monitors and computers these days. And it became 3840 by 2160, more commonly known as UHD. So basically, to all the people that want to complain that 4K is 4K, well, they started calling it that because of people like you. Because you said, hey, it's not real 4K. Well, 4K sounds a hell of a lot better than 2160p, because when you think about it, if you go into a store and someone says, yeah, like this monitor over here, you get twice the resolution and about 3 times the price. And people are going to say, I'm not going to pay 3 times the price for like twice the resolution, because they're thinking 1080p to 2160p. And then if you say, on the other side, if you say, well, this monitor over here is actually 4 1080p monitors in one 4K, they're going to say, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah, 4 of them for 3 times the price, that's totally worth it. I'm getting a free monitor. And then you understand the marketing behind it. It's not for gamers. This is for media.
TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I've never had a problem with it, because when I was introduced to 4K resolution, it wasn't gaming. It was, hey, do you want to spend $10,000 on a 4K TV? And we're like, no. No, please God, no. Right?
Yeah.
And then, over the years, it becomes cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and everybody's like, oh yeah, 4K is great. And then you get into this PC gaming world where everybody's, sitting in their office chair whining, like, oh, that's not 4K. I can count pixels, man. That's not. And it's like, well, it's not for you, so shut up and sit down. Oh, wait.
Yep.
You're sitting down.
Yeah,
like,
well.
Shut up and lay down.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bash on, the PC gaming society, but seriously, calm down.
Right. Funny story. There's a professor at Ohio State. His name is Farouk Khan, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this out loud, but I'm working with him to develop a product that's coming to market here soon. And one of the biggest things that he said was, I can't tell you what the product is, but he said, this is gonna there's a definite gaming application for this. But we don't want to go into it, because what gamers are going to do is they're going to pick, and they're going to prod, they're going to find every tiny little issue that normal people wouldn't even care about, and they're going to publicize the tiny issues that nobody would have noticed anyway, and suddenly you're looking at bad product reviews, because you have nothing wrong with gamers doing it, but you're trying to market towards a certain crowd, so you should market towards a certain crowd.
Yeah. I see what you mean. It's kind of like what is it? It's kind of similar to console versus gaming PC. Yeah. So if you're playing gaming PCs, you're spending, I don't know, $800 to $1,000 maybe on a mid to high tier gaming computer, maybe even more if you want really, really nice video gaming. And then you see those same people suddenly bashing on a $400 console, $500 console system, saying, oh, well, your frame rates aren't as great as ours, and it just hurts. Our hurts are better. And it's like, well, okay, that's fine, but this wasn't for you at all. Like, this is for somebody who's going to sit, 15 feet away from their screen. They're not going to be able to see the pixels.
Exactly.
Right? And it's like, Titanfall looks great on my Xbox. This looks great on my Xbox. Yeah, well, it looks better on my desktop. Well, yeah, of course it looks better on your desktop. You're 2 feet away.
Exactly.
Or in my case, 35 inches. I think everything just falls into that where you start nitpicking something that wasn't designed for you. Well, of course, it's not going to meet your expectations. It was not designed for you.
Yeah. And that's,
I don't know.
I guess that's a really important thing to bring up. Because I guess in my mind I never thought about that. I never fell into the whole PC Master Race thing, but it always did.
Either.
It did bug me how you spend so much on a console and then you realize that you're not nearly getting as much as you could. But at the same time, it's who are you marketing towards?
Right.
So, pretty important thing. One other thing that I wanted to bring up with this 4K thing, which kind of also leads into videography. Another thing that I'm going to be getting into on this channel. But in DSLRs, for a long time you've had this megapixel race, saying how many megapixels can we cram into a camera sensor. Same thing that's happening in phones now. It's I'm not going to say it started to stop, but I mean you're into like 13, 16 megapixel cameras now. And it's like, do you really need that much? A good way to remedy what you're going to call the next monitor standard or resolution standard is to stop going by pixels and start going by megapixels. So a 1080p monitor is 2.1 megapixels. A 1200p monitor, which no one uses, is 2.3 megapixels. So the next real standard up was 1440p, so 3.7 megapixels, and a 2160p monitor 4K UHD is 8.3 megapixels. So going from a 1080p at 2.1 to a 4K at 8.3, you can see...
There's a large jump.
Yeah. And that really puts it into perspective. It really is 4 times as many. That's just my humble opinion.
That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. And I mean, that way you avoid stupid naming schemes like UHD. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So we went from HD to full HD to UHD. What's the next one going to be? Extreme HD? EHD? I don't know.
No, it's going to be like UHD. Ultra high definition.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a simple fix to a problem, because you know who MKBHD is on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
MKBHD, his tagline is more pixels. Just give me more pixels, and that's going to happen because people just want. I mean, it's a spec war, right? So
right.
I feel like to avoid future issues, you call it by the megapixel count, not the resolution. But that's my humble opinion. I don't know.
It makes sense. It's certainly less of a mouthful than saying I got 180p megapixel resolution.
Did you just say 180p megapixel resolution?
What? I said 180p. Oh, yeah, I did say that, didn't I? Yeah. Shut up.
I think you said it a couple of times before, and I just took it off. I just took it to be you didn't really like. Maybe
I probably did. I probably just wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah. 180p.
1080p.
Yeah.
That's what I should have said.
Oh, man.
180p. I mean, it's like an iPhone from like 2000.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
It's like the first iPhone.
Well, what was the resolution of the first iPhone?
Google
Original,
it.
Yeah. Google has all the answers except...
It's probably like 480. Maybe 480. 480 sounds right.
Yeah, it was 320 by 480 HVGA.
Yeah. That was the shit.
480.
Too. It was like, holy crap.
Yeah. Oh, man. The funny thing is, I just Googled original iPhone, and there's an eBay link to where you can buy an original iPhone for $2,000. $2,440.
What?
Yeah. It's
Holy
a collector's
crap.
item. Do you have one?
It's a hipster collector's paperweight.
Yeah.
Like, when you're in a coffee shop and your newspapers are blowing around, what do you use? Your old iPhone.
Yeah.
Actually, I might go house hunting. I have drawers to search through.
Yeah. Oh, did you guys own one at one point?
I don't remember. I really don't. But
there's a
holy crap!
If there's on Bonanza, I haven't heard of this site, but there's apparently a site called Bonanza, and they have them selling for $6,370. Somebody can make bank.
What?
That could get you.
That's a semester of tuition.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What? You can't even use them anymore effectively.
That's crazy. Maybe
it's
just a mislabel. There's another one on eBay for a 4 GB model that's $300. I don't know.
I could see it maybe like it's like the first iPhone ever, like the first iPhone,
or the one that
like first
that
off the
Steve
line.
Jobs brought out. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, selling for a lot of money because it's like a nostalgic item. But there were probably like 1 million iPhones.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't. That's just. Even if I had that money to burn, you wouldn't get it from me.
Yeah. I don't know. There was a point in time when I really wanted the original, and I wanted to use the original, and I went into an Apple store and was like, if I brought an original iPhone, could I use it? And he said, well, the standard that they used back then, you would have to manually activate it. You couldn't just throw your SIM card into it. And there is one person in the continental US of A that knows how to do that. One man.
What?
And I was like, I want to find this one man and ask him why. Why?
Holy crap.
But that wasn't at an Apple store.
That is crazy.
Who knows how much those people actually know.
I mean, they might have just told everybody that. So, like, all these hipsters and, nostalgic collectors are just looking for this one dude who doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Running in circles.
I don't know.
That's crazy. I mean,
Who knows?
Pay over, $50 for a, 8-year-old, 10-year-old phone?
Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy.
Well, this week I guess we didn't talk as much about drones. So
Actually, we could remedy that.
Okay.
Because I remembered. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we're a little bit over, but we can make something happen here.
We'll save it for next time.
Okay. Yeah, next week I think we're gonna start. We're gonna change the stream date to, I'm thinking, Friday. It looks like that might work better. But we'll post that on social media. Quick thing, we had 47 views of episode 1 last time I checked before I got on the stream.
2 of them were for me.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
I had one of them. I had one of them.
Had one.
Yeah. But I mean, still, 47 views in 1 week, that's not bad. That is not bad.
That's like almost 50 people who think we're really, really dumb.
Yeah. We'll make that.
Oh, jeez. I'm going to have to go. I'm going to go watch it again. Just because I want to see that for myself.
Just buff the numbers, yeah. Oh, man. But in any case, I'm gonna keep going on this social media thing. Just post everywhere about it. This one will be up on Monday, so officially recorded on the 23rd, and will be up on the 25th of May, 2015. So it's been fun. Goro. Hopefully next week we have a few more people.
It has. I mean, I think maybe we should be able to swing more people with our growing fan base.
I know. At one point, I'd like to just post the link out and just have random people pop in. I think that'd be kind of cool, and I can always eject them if there are any nudies.
Unsavory.
Yeah, but that's about it for the TechnoCola podcast, episode 2, recorded live on May 23rd, 2015, in my amazing radio voice. Alright, guys. That's about it. Got anything to say, Gore, before we sign off? You going to shoot the camera again?
I think your radio voice. Oh, yeah. Did it better this time.
Yeah, you did. What about my radio voice?
No, I was like, that's a good way to end it.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
But we ruined that, so.
Maybe. Alright, guys. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye. 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 Week. Goodbye.